Yes, go. I think you are the very right person to answer. Kasi nga, I told them that one thing that we are very, very proud is because we only have one direction, and that is one Cebu Island. And we only have you as our leader. So, may tanong sila po, yung color po ba ng Cebu, isa lang? Yes.
What color? Is it political color? Huh? You know, when I came back for my fourth term, before that, good afternoon to all of you. We welcome you to the province of Cebu. All the top guns from the province of Batanes. I was looking at the list here. Practically all department heads and OIC department heads are with us here. And we feel very, very privileged that you have chosen Cebu for your benchmarking activities. Thank you for choosing Cebu. Bago ko sagutin yung isa ba ang color, ako muna ang magtanong. Bakit pinili niyo ang Cebu?
Before I introduce the members of the team, allow me to convey the warm greetings of our Governor, Marilo H. Cayco, to you and the entire officialdom of the provincial government of Cebu. Secondly, we would like also to thank you for this very warm welcome that you have accorded to us. We've been in the province of Bohol for the past 2 days, and we are also very happy to tell you that we are doing exactly what we did there. We are here, of course, for the benchmarking activity because we would like to apply whatever best practices we have here in the province of Cebu City. So we hope that when we go back to our province, we will be able to learn, assimilate, and apply whatever best practices we have here in the province of Cebu. So now, can I introduce the members of the team? First, we have Sir Rafi, the Provincial Budget Officer, and we have Dr. Alan Sande, our Provincial Health Officer, who is also a native of Cebu. He was born somewhere in Leyte, and yeah. He was here. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Sir Henry Come, our Provincial Social Welfare Officer. We have Sir Henry Akaya, our Environment Officer. And of course, Sir Bob Godwin Saber Nunez, our BAC Secretary. And then we have our Provincial Engineer, Sir Mark Ventolero. We have our IDH or Itbayat Chief Hospital in the island of Itbayat. And then our Provincial Dr. Jennifer Rubilius, and our Provincial Legal Officer, Attorney Eva Gutierrez, at ang aming mutya, our Provincial Officer, Provincial Tourism Officer, Ma'am Hegel Balones. And of course, Doc Aurelia Perez, our PBET Provincial Veterinarian, and our Ma'am Ana Marie Rosas, our Human Resource Development Officer, and our P-Agri or Provincial Agriculture Officer, Sir Cesar Pasteliero, and our Planning Officer, of course, Ma'am Marisa Antonio, our Assessor, Provincial Assessor, Ma'am Doris Ruiz, and of course, the last but not the least, our provincial disaster officer, Sir Dan Estico. Thank you, ma'am. And of course, yours truly, the acting provincial administrator. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, thank you, and as I said, welcome. Welcome to Cebu. I trust that for the past, kailan ka oras? You were given the programs that we have initiated here from our provincial agriculturist, the provincial vet. We also have our tourism officer. And how many is Neil? We have representing the provincial disaster rapid response. Why do they call it PDRRMO? We are so fond of acronyms. PDRMO. We also have PIO, and we have Eddie is here, consultant. And it is really, as I said, quite flattering that you have also chosen to come to Cebu. As you could see, we have been working hard in spite of the pandemic in the previous term. I guess you already know that I am a comebacking governor. I'd served 3 terms in the past, and I came back for my 4th in 2019. I'm now on my 5th term, and it does help that I already served 9 years. My perspective further expanded when I served in Congress for the next 6 years before coming back. And this has helped me to craft policies and programs that are in effect more effective in uplifting the lives of Cebuanos. So that is really the focus that we have. For me, what would always be important is how we could help the people on the ground, especially those who have no voice, who have no fame, who have no money, and yet our policies would be borne by them. Kaya nga nung time ng COVID, kung masyado ng illogical, insensible, and insensitive yung mga policies ng IATF, I would speak out. Hindi naman na basta-basta lang. All of our decisions were always based on solid data. Data that took into account our number of cases, the severity of these cases, the mortality rate, and on the other hand, the impact of the restrictions on the people themselves in terms of livelihoods, in terms of jobs, and we have to keep a balancing act. I was the very first governor to reopen tourism. I think Marty has already told you, way back in 2020. Because if we continued with the way all of these restrictions were going, then people would have no job, no livelihood, and government would continue to use all of our resources practically para sa ayuda. And we will then be starting to nurture that mendicant mentality, where people start to feel entitled, that they no longer need to move or lift a finger because government is there to provide the ayuda. I told all Cebuanos, this is not the way we're going. It robs you of your sense of dignity. And I know that if you could only be given the chance you would help as much, you would try as much as possible to earn an honest living. And so that is why the programs that we presented are all to help Cebuanos help themselves. We saw the pitfalls of this, anong tawag niyan? KKKM. Kanang, sana? Sa DSWD, give money. 4Ps, the SAP, where people were vociferous, loudly complaining they did not receive any money. But up to now, this 4Ps, ilang taon na ba yan? At ilang bilyon ang nagasto dyan sa gobyerno. But have we seen an improvement in people's lives? Wala. It's billions and billions wasted because you could never be sure that the money that you give would actually be spent for schooling, for whatever else conditions that the 4Ps were supposed to have. That's forgotten na. And every time dito, I don't know what your experience is, but here in the northern town where we still have sugarcane plantations, every time there's a payout of the 4Ps, the following day, nobody works. Puro lasing eh. Ubus tanan na beer at saka tanduay. Kaya when we went through Typhoon Odette last December 16, wala nga kaming Pasko dito. More than 450,000 households were affected. Either their houses were totally damaged, partially, or just partially. So we distributed financial assistance for them to be able to purchase these roofing materials and other items that they needed to rebuild their homes. But we did not give cash. Even though I allocated 1.4 billion for the over 450,000 households, we gave them the DASIC Sugbo cards with its respective QR codes. Was this presented? And partnered with supermarkets, the hardwares and all. So we achieved two positive goals there. The first is really to see to it that the money that we gave would be spent for what was intended. And the second was, na-double whammy kami. Pandemic, restrictions, kawawa yung mga tindahan. Nag-Typhoon Odette pa. Yung mga tindahan natin talaga, they were so affected. But with 1.4 billion poured into the economy through our supermarkets, hardwares, and other suppliers, then that helped us bring back, or at least prop up on its feet, a devastated economy. Because the money did not go outside of Cebu. It stayed with us here. And that has always been our system. We don't give money, we don't give cash. It educates the people as well. Because then they will realize that it's not a matter of always looking up to government, but it's also a matter of helping themselves. So Bukahanas is to empower our out of school youth, or even those that are already adults, are already quite advanced in age, to learn these skills and to earn that precious national certificate too, which is actually their ticket to a better paid job, or even their passport to abroad, because these NC2 graduates are highly in demand. So I guess you were already given all of these programs. I'm open for questions if you wish. Yes, please.
Mayong hapon, Honorable Madam Governor Gwen.
Mao pa day kasi mong binisaya.
Gilingaw, Madam. My question is this, no? Actually, you were the first governor to drop the masking protocol, and after that, based on what you said also earlier, sinabi, meron tayong number. So, I also convinced our governor that, Madam, sobra na tayo sa 100% sa vaccination, tapos ang booster 1 natin is more than, actually nasa 70 to 80% na kami sa booster 1, and we're going like 40% doon sa booster 2 natin. And she said, oo naman, pwede optional. So, yun. I think, with those pronouncements na nagawa mo, Madam Governor, anong technique mo doon? Tapang lang talaga? Para ma-duplicate namin yung style mo na you go against what the national guidance.
Your question is, paano ako naging ganito katapang? Yeah, I mean, really, what is your question? Huh? Yeah, it's like this. Alam mo, for me, coming back as governor, I had never contemplated I would still come back. 9 years, tapos na sana yun. Sabi ko, I've served enough. But then, a path of my life brought me back to the capital. So, sabi ko, bonus na to. I think, from now on, I will only focus talaga on what is good for the people. Kahit na anong mangyayari, even if I have to go against powerful officials, I will still stand. Why? Because they voted me back. Pinabalik ako. When I came back in 2019, we were going against the incumbents. And I had been away. I was just looking after one district as a congresswoman. But yet I won by a margin of over 300,000 votes. So, and it also helps. You go around. Don't stay inside your air-conditioned offices tulad ng mga taga-IETF noon. Noon, hindi ngayon. Noon, yung mahal kong Here comes these people crafting policies that would burden those that are on the ground, and they've never been here. They've never seen the situation. Ako, kahit nung at the height of the pandemic, I kept on going around the entire province, and this is quite a big province. You know that this is 44 municipalities, 6 component cities, and 1 highly urbanized. I kept on going around because I had to show the people na, look, I'm here. Stop this. I kept saying, there are 2 pandemics ngayon eh. One is COVID-19, but the other one, fed by those that had their own agenda, and certainly media, the fear pandemic. People were so afraid. So I went around and showed them that I'm not going to use the excuse that because I'm a senior citizen, I might be, anong tawag yan? Compromise? I have a comorbidity. I went around and I saw the situation right there. I talked to the people, nakita ko. So, with this, I realized na, wow, these people, these are living in the mountains, in the islets. They don't have a voice. They cannot say, okay, this is the way we go. But, yung mga policies na ginagawa nila doon sa Manila, yun ang makaburden sa kanila. So, then I needed to be tapang for them. Kasi, hindi sila pwede eh. And, it's a responsibility because they gave me that trust to serve as governor, to look after their benefit. And I have really always considered that a sacred duty to answer and show them that I am worthy of that trust and confidence. So, you know already, highly publicized naman yun. Tingnan mo naman yan. I was the first to issue, di ba? Optional. Optional nga eh. Nag-react naman yung isa. React ka agad. June 7 pa yun. That was the previous administration. June 7 ang date ng EO ko noon. Optional. In open, well-ventilated places. Naku. Ang violent naman ng reaksyon ng isa. Immediately, nag-issue ng order. To apprehend, arrest, confront, apprehend, and arrest. Yung mga hindi daw sumusuot ng face mask, and I said, on what basis? There is no law here in the province. Ang ordinance kasi namin, you will not fine, huwag mong i-anuhan ng fine yung hindi nagsumusuot because more often than not, yung mahuhuli nyo, yung pobre, yung mahirap na naglalakad sa daan, or kaya nagbibisikleta, sometimes mahirap na nga hindi nahihirapan na huminga, di tanggalin yung mask. Yan pa ang i-fine ninyo ng 500. Ilang kilo na yan ng bigas. Besides, ano ba talagang sistema pag-collect ng fine? Yung police, alam mo naman, baka 10 yung nahuli ninyo, 5 lang yung i-turnover nyo. That will be room for corruption pa. At saka, resibuhan ba yan? So I told all the municipal, you lift the fine. Sinabi ko sa mga police, I'll give you mask. Yung mga hindi nakasuot ng mask, you give them. But if I ever hear na nagko-collect kayo ng fine, alam mo naman, ang bait-bait ko, pero pag magalit ako, magiging dragona ako. It's really maybe it's the heart. The mind is important, but the heart is equally important, that you really have that passion to serve. So, yun, I hope I answered your question. Yes, please.
Doon tayo sa programa niyo ng Sugbo Negosyo. Talaga naaanuhan ako doon sa programa niyo na yan. Paano niyo na convince yung board, the Sangguniang, they call this? Panlalawigan to support your program, which is, ito yung related doon sa question ng isa kanina, yung color na sinasabi. Siyempre, I don't know sa ano nyo rito, kung lahat supportive sa'yo or are there members, are there members na ibang color, yung sabi niya kanina. So, paano niya sila para supportahan itong napakagandang programa niya, ma'am?
And not just that. The board supported all my executive orders, including optional face mask. The Cebu Protocol na we cut the quarantine for OFWs and returning Filipinos from 10 days to 3 days. The board always supports my EO with an ordinance. How were we able to do that? When I won again in 2019, we have 17 board members. We only had 9 out of the 17 that were politically aligned with me. The vice governor, who was the governor before, but when I ran, he went down and ran for vice gov, was not aligned with me. So on the first day, but mabait kasi yung vice governor, mabait na tao. So on the first day, he came to see me and he said, I am here, Gov, to tell you that I will support you. And so I told him, even though we've been quarreling in the past, pero sabi ko sa kanya, dami niyang kaso na final sa akin eh. Nang-dismiss lahat. But I told him, and Vice Gov, I promise you I will always respect the position that you hold. You're the Vice Governor, I will respect you as the Vice Governor. So from then on, then ang nangyari, di nag-COVID na tayo. The challenges were, how could the board members themselves also help? So, pag merong donation sa akin, I distribute that to all the board members because then I would be sure na kani-kanilang districts kasi sila. So, that would be distributed throughout the entire province and including the Vice Gov. And then, yung itong Sugbo negosyo, I allocated 100 million. And to be sure that this will be spread throughout the entire province, binigyan ko na tag 5 million bawat board member. And for the Vice Gov, kasi buong province naman yung coverage niya, 15 million. So sila na naghanap ng mga beneficiaries. I have never really, sa akin talaga, I've been practicing that ever since. After the elections, tapos na. Sige, let's work. I think that is in that sense, no? Because I think every person, kahit kaano yung kaaway mo, they're basically good. And if you just show them respect and show them that, you know, tapusin mo na yung away, let's work muna, I'm sure they'll come across. So, little by little, yun ang nangyayari. We got a united board. The Vice Governor is very supportive. And now, even the mayors, in the last elections, hindi naman sa akin lahat ng mayors. Pero, because of that then, I would call all the mayors before I would issue an executive order during the pandemic, and I would consult all. Pagkatapos, if I needed to help them, binibigyan ko lahat. I never said, huwag bigyan yan, hindi yan kaalyado ko. Never. I treated them with equal respect. Why nga? Because sila yung pinili ng tao eh. Kahit na ayaw ko talaga, galit ako nito, pero mayor eh. Diba? We have to set aside our personal feelings. Kasi, we're not the man in the street na hindi binigyan ng duty or responsibility. We asked to be elected. The people trusted us. So, we cannot just be personal about things because the position that we are holding is a sacred duty to the people who voted us into office. That has been the way that I have been helping all. Kaya, ayun, nangyari tuloy. Lahat ng mayors isa lang. In 2019 kasi, alam nyo, I don't know if you researched, my opponent was the former Secretary of Tourism, Ace Durano, a 3-termer congressman, a very powerful political family in the north. And sa awa po ng Diyos, tinalo ko siya yung margin ko. Yung diferensya namin is only maliit. 1.1 million votes. 1.4 yung boto ko, yung kanya 300,000. So, ngayon, of the 51 local government units, ang 50 are all aligned with us. Yung isa na lang, yung Danau, kasi yun ang city ni Durano. Okay lang, siya lang mag-isa doon. But we still extend. There was a fire that razed the entire public market sa Danau, which affected more than 9,000 vendors. Binigyan ko na naman, we extended support to all the 9,000 vendors. Whatever is needed there. Kaya lang, syempre, I just cannot immediately concrete a road there because ayaw nila. I cannot put a barangay hall kasi ayaw nila. That's okay. Yung board naman, in this 5th term, But they were now trying to agree kung sino magiging majority floor leader. Ganon. Si Vice Gov, sabi niya, wala na lang kayong majority. Bakit Vice Gov? Wala namang minority. Floor leader na lang. I've been trying to show that to all. But still, yung iba, they still cling to this old politics which gives politics a bad name. Now you extend the campaign period and the elections beyond the election itself. And you think that right after that, you start campaigning na. Mali. Focus on your work because that's campaigning already. You cannot keep on trying to draw that line. Because if you continue with that, then there will never be unity. And when there is no unity, sinong mag-suffer? Yung mga tao, kasi away ng away with the board, walang papasa na programa, away ng mayor, so wala. Ngayon, even Cebu City, Lapu-Lapu, these are highly urbanized also. We are all aligned, kaya the term One Cebu Island. And whenever I would issue an executive order, Mayor Mike Rama would say, Gov, I'm calling to tell you that I will follow what you have put in. And then the media has asked me, Mayor, are you going to issue an executive order? No need, you just follow the EO of the governor. Si Mayor Ahong din, sabi niya, Gov, give me a copy na lang of the EO, we will copy it. That's how, and it feels good, and people feel good. And when people feel good, then you can inspire them further, di ba? To even reach greater heights because walang conflict, walang alitan, walang away. Kaya bored ang media dito. Kasi wala silang away na ma-report. Thank you. But I just hope that this becomes, that others would see really how practical it is. Not to keep on drawing that line, it's counterproductive. And it doesn't help the people whom we are tasked to serve. How about the ladies? Bakit yung mga nagtatanong, mga lalaki lagi?
Ay, good afternoon, Gov.
Good afternoon.
Dagdagan ko lang kung bakit nandito kami sa Cebu. Kasi syempre, we are relatively young and pinakamaliit po kaming province and we look up to big and old cities like Cebu. And sino pa ba ang mas matanda kaysa Cebu? And yung expression na sana all is parang ayaw namin hanggang doon na lang kasi we want to learn from you. Siyempre magsisimula kami sa maliit kasi hindi kaya ng pondo namin. But if you want to learn, of course, you want to learn from the best. So yun po yung sagot namin dun sa tanong mo rin po. And then,
Spoken like an attorney.
as an attorney naman, tatanong ko, syempre kasi the provincial legal officer is there to advise. You advise lang naman yun kasi at the end of the day, you are the decision maker. Pero, paano niyo po ni-resolve kung halimbawa, minsan kasi napaka-stricto ng batas kung halimbawa po, magkaiba po kayo ng pananaw nung mga legal advisor nyo dun sa gusto nyong mangyari. So, how do you go about it internally, if I may ask?
Yes, of course. And thank you for that question. Whenever we are faced with a challenge, I call all sectors relevant to that challenge. I listen to all of their inputs. I let them speak. And then sometimes siguro I ask a question to learn more about what this input is all about. But in the end, with a legal, in the end, I assimilate all of these, I draw this to a sieve, pray to the Holy Spirit, and then out of that, I come up with a solution. So I say, okay, I've heard all of you. Thank you for your inputs. This is the way we go. Now, the difference between me and a legally, or just say a lawyer, who sits and listens. My father was a lawyer who sits and listens to all of this. He would say, okay, what is the law? Ganon eh. That's your question. So, usually, pag meron tayong problem, what does the law say? Di ba? Ganon? O, sa akin, I listen to them. I come up with a solution. And then I say, okay, this is the way we'll go. Then I turn to my legal officer and tell him, look for a law that will support this.
Pareho po kayo ni Gov namin.
That's true, because in the end, as I said, bottom line, what is good for the people? What is the greater good for the greater number? If that would be our bottom line, there will always be a law that will support it. Yung COA naman, alam mo naman magkaiba-iba yung utak niyan eh. So, yung COA, pag mayroong lalabas na AOM, pinapatawag, o bakit AOM ito? Ganito, ganito. Ay, hindi mo naman naiintindihan. O, ito. I talk to them so that they would also understand. Yung COA namin pala dito, nalilito. Kasi itong mga programs natin, wala pa kasing precedence eh. Kaya they have to ask for an explanation. How did you do the Dasig Sugbo? What is Sugbo negosyo? What is yun? But in the end, bottom line, as long as this is not irregular, this is not overpriced, this is not disadvantageous to government, and in fact is advantageous to our constituents, then we can defend that. I'm telling you this. I think you know my story. In the administration of Pinoy, the Ombudsman, Morales then, was filing one case after another against me. Umabot pa nga ng Sandigan Bayan eh. But I was always confident. Kahit na kung gaano ako sinira sa press, gaano ang mga, character assassination and all. I said, but I did not do anything wrong. I know that I can always defend my position. And in the end, the truth served me right. I said, well, there's really a God. It took 6 long years. Sandigan Bayan, 6 years yun. There were so many cases ombudsman na flip-flop yan si Morales on the CICC, this. Flip-flop. And many others. Pero na-dismiss lahat. So, there was a time when I thought, wow, ako na siguro pinakamaraming kaso sa buong Pilipinas dito. And the only consolation that I could get is I believe that there's a God, and it's a God that is just. So in the end, the truth set me free. Kasi ganun talaga ang direction ko. Look for a law that will support this. Yeah? Anyone? Beauty before.
Okay lang si Val. Actually, mine is not a question anymore, but a thank you. Because we were really overwhelmed this afternoon, and we really are inspired by how you lead your people, ma'am. Kasi talaga kapareho yung governor namin. And I can see on the faces of our department heads na hindi sila hindi nag-blink yung eye nila kasi very interested. And I know na yung sa isip namin, dino-compare namin kayo na pareho talaga kayo ng governor ng Batanes. It is the leaders like you that should stay in position.
Thank you. I hope that we could host your governor here in Cebu. I hope that she will be able to visit Cebu.
Ay, opo. She will love that definitely. And on visit, we would like to give our simple token, Sir Budget.
Meron pa isang question niya.
Ay, oh, sorry.
No. This will be my last question, ma'am. Nabanggit niyo po kasi kanina yung sa mga auditors, di ba?
The auditors, yeah.
Dun ba sa programa niyo na Sugbo negosyo, did you ever encounter na karoon kayo ng AON or yung kini-question kayo o pinapaliwanag kayo kung mayroon man dun sa programa niyo na yan?
I think your question should be, how are you able to directly without undergoing a public bidding yung mga binibili, no? Yung pinapuntahan ng supermarket. Under 9184, if it is financial assistance, this is not subject to bidding. Hindi nga because ito na, it's in a form of assistance. Kaya nga lang, it's contained in the card. Di ba, pag bigyan mo ng SAP, yung bigay ka ng 8,000, bigay mo yan cash, di ba? Hindi mo naman tinatanong, pinabigyan ba yung binili niya na kulapo? Pinabigyan ba yung binili niya na, tanduay? Ribbon ng buhok? Doon naman ginagamit, ribbon ng buhok. Pinabigyan ba yung binili niya na cellphone? Diba? So, sa atin lang, hindi natin binigyan ng cash. But that card is equivalent to the assistance. Kaya hindi natin question, din dumiretso na sila sa supermarket. We entered into a memorandum of agreement with merchants and asked them to keep their prices, to freeze their prices for the next 3 months. So that's monitored in our central system. So mabilis din ang pagbayad natin because hindi na kailangan na mag-bidding pa tayo, mag-canvas pa tayo, wala na. It's not procurement. It's assistance. So COA needed to be explained to. At ngayon, wala namang question. Yung Dasig Sugbo work in the same way. Yun ang tinanong din nila. So I said, it's like Sugbo negosyo, pero this is for the Typhoon Odette victims. So that's when they understood it. For both, that was considered as assistance to the beneficiaries. It was not considered a procurement. Iba yung procurement. You have to go into public bidding or at least shopping and the other modes of procurement. Okay. So,
Our budget officer po will hand over our token to our beloved governor and our provincial administrator. It is a dictionary, English Filipino Ivatan dictionary. Para pagpunta niyo sa Batanes governor, may alam na kayong Ivatan word. Ayan. And our number 1 export product is a garlic processed one. And of course, our craft. Sa loob po are small tokens for your staff, ma'am.
we also have some tokens for all of you.
meeting. Actually, Gop, I already told them, that's one plus sa imuha. You go around, you see for yourself. So that's what also I discussed a while ago. That's one thing special. Inviting you again for our Suri-Suri Sugbo this coming November 18, 19, and 20, and another one will be this coming January 17.